There's really only two ways to make money in this world. Either you work for it or you use some type of leverage to get it. And we'll focus more on the second one for this video. Now, if you're newer to the game of money, honestly, start like this, because this is how I started and this is how literally every other person starts out. Get a job, and get a job in sales. Literally every single successful person started off like this. Mark Cuban, Robert Kiyosaki, Warren Buffett, everyone starts in sales if they want to become something later on in life. Because one thing is, if it all goes downhill for me, say I lose my business, my customer list, YouTube, everyone who works with me, I'm going right back to a sales job. And honestly, sales was kind of the only reason I was able to achieve any of this. Anytime I'm asked what should I do in the beginning or to start my business, I always say learn sales. Mainly because it's the fundamental part of every single business, which is getting money. It's also the best learning ground when it comes to just talking to people and getting them to buy or persuading them into doing something. But this video is not me trying to sell you on sales, although I think I've done a fairly good job at that if you haven't been in sales yet, or if you haven't even done anything sales related. The main thing about this video is learning how to use leverage to make more money, mainly if you're in business, but you don't need to be in business or the top guy at any business to be able to use some type of leverage to be able to make yourself more money. So again, if you're not at the top of a business or you're not like the leader or anything, don't worry, no need to click off, because there's so many ways that you could still use this to your advantage. Like if that were the case, there would be so many more businesses, so much more competition in every single industry, and so many more people struggling to make it. That's why teams always beat the lone wolves, because teams always go further. And the thing is with teams, there's always going to be a top couple people in there who honestly are making most of the money. Don't worry, if you're not at the top, you can still use leverage and you can still make a lot of money too. Literally, like we're working on this in my business right now. There's at least 1 or 2 people that we're trying to get into management for this next season. So literally anyone can do it. Literally anyone can use leverage to make more money. Don't worry, I'll help you get to it. So jumping right into it, the way that I first started getting some leverage in my business was literally when I first started it. First thing I did was hire someone to do kind of like half the work for me. So essentially I would go out, I would sell the jobs, and then my friend would fulfill them for me. This would do 2 things. One, it would free up my time, so then I could spend more time selling more, making both of us more money, because now he also has more jobs. As well as that, it also saved me a lot of energy, and then this energy I could spend it into making my business better, as well as scaling it up more. Holy smokes, I just spilled water. So it ended up working for me, and it still works. Essentially, I hire people, and instead of just giving them straight wages, I don't do that because honestly, people's time is either very valuable or not valuable at all. So I always choose to pay people based on the value they can give. So that way they're not just capped out based on like 1 hour of work. They're capped out based on how much they can do. So what I do is just give people commission or a cut of the revenue that they make. So I do this for both roles in my business, be it sales or fulfillment. Everyone gets a cut of the money that they bring in. And then if you kind of follow the way that I do, as in you hire people, you also have just sales and fulfillment. The next thing that I mainly take care of, as well as both of these, I don't just make people do everything and then I do nothing. I of course do the work as well. Then the second thing that I focus on is making sure that all the finances are proper. Everyone's paying as well as everyone's getting paid properly. And then as well as that, I also focus on making sure that the customers are happy afterwards, and I deal with all the customer relations as well, because that can kind of get a little bit annoying, but oh well, that's just the game of business. So this was the main way that we went from 0 to 60K. I really only use this type of leverage, as well as one of the leverages that we'll talk about in systems a little bit later, but this was the main way that we got from 0 to 60. Delegation. Yeah, this is the main way that we got from 0 to 60. Delegating some of the work. So this is how I'd recommend everyone to start out too. Start hiring people to take up parts of the business, and then pay commission, because the thing is about commission, not only do the other people benefit more because now they're not just capped at the time, you also will never go below 0, or you'll never have to go into debt, which is such an amazing tool to have, especially in business. And then the way to scale this is the people that you do hire, don't focus on hiring too many people. I'll talk about a story a little bit later about that and how it did not help me out at all. Essentially, the people that you do hire, again, don't focus on too many. Focus on honestly hiring a couple people. The best numbers that worked for us was around 8 to 9 people hired, and then me, of course. The thing is, you just want to train them to be as best as possible, because 5 fully trained assassins will always take out a team of 100 bozos. And this honestly proved true in our business too, except for one little part. So there's this one company, and they just hire out whoever, and then they pay them nothing, but they have a lot of people working for them, and they were our direct competition. So they came into this one neighborhood, they wiped it out before we could. But the thing is, our people are much better taken care of, our customers are much better taken care of, and in the long run, we do a lot better and we deal with a lot less lawsuits, etc. So just focus on hiring few people and trade them to the best of your ability, and make sure that everyone is always taken care of, because business is a long game. It's not a short game. If you're trying to get into business to make $1 billion and then leave, it's not gonna happen. This is a lifelong game, so be ready to commit yourself to it. And honestly, I messed up with this too in the beginning. Literally, if you wanted to work with me in the first year of my business, all you needed to have was a working heartbeat, and you probably should be able to pronounce your name. If you had those, good job, you're hired. But then the second year of business, I actually figured it out, and then the only people I would hire are people with similar goals to me, similar values, similar mindset as me, and who are just more long-term focused. That's what worked better for us in the end. Not in the end, but going forward. And then a bonus or a second to using people as leverage, and that I kind of didn't do properly the first year, is using customer lists. So what we do is every time we finish a job, we ask the people for either their phone number or their email. So then when the next season rolls around and we're selling again, we hit up everyone again, and then we're like, hey, do you want to buy? And the beauty of this is that you don't need to sell those people again. As long as you, of course, did a good job the first time, they're most likely going to buy. As well as that, you don't need to spend the money on more commission, and you don't need to spend the time getting those sales again, because you again already have them. So that's the second type of leverage that you can use with people: customer lists. And one of the easiest sells you're ever going to get in your life is reselling to people who've already bought from you. Again, as long as they were happy the first time. This is why I think some businesses end up failing. They constantly need to get new customers. That's not that good of a way. The best thing that you could do in terms of business is have something where people are constantly rebuying, preferably monthly. Ours is more yearly or twice a year people will rebuy. So it's a little bit slower, but our kind of higher ticket makes up for it. So by now, at this point of the video, you should have a pretty good understanding of leverage. Even if you're like a full beginner, you will have some understanding of it. Essentially, it's getting more output for your input, or maximizing your output for your input. It's that simple. Essentially, me hiring two people, they are going to do a lot more work than just one person can be able to. And then the thing is, they're going to get paid for that, as well as the business is going to benefit from them working as well. Leverage. So I'm going to give you two more examples of ways that we use leverage in our business. And the thing is about leverage is you need to get creative about it. That's the beauty of this too. You can use your brain, and it's just one of those things that the more you think and the more you test out, the better you're going to get at it, and the better results you're going to get too. But the second way that we use leverage was content. Mainly for us, we used ads, but as well as I also used warm outreach or just posting videos, kind of like what we do on YouTube. But with my business, until we got up to around $60,000 in gross revenue, we only focused on door-to-door as well as just referrals. Around that time was when I started posting ads. And you've probably heard the story if you've been watching my channel, but the first person who ever bought from one of my ads was one of the richest people in our city. And the thing is, you cannot get access to those people by just knocking doors or by just cold emailing. These are much harder sales to get. So by us posting ads, that is how we got that sale, because now you get access to essentially more people. And the thing is with ads and videos is you can make one video and then it can be watched 1 billion times. Like these videos, I just have to make them once, and then however many people who want to watch it will watch it, and they will continue getting the benefit from it. And honestly, it's fairly similar with YouTube. Like I would not have had this community, like all of you watching these videos. I would not have had the coaching sales from these YouTube videos. I would not have been as known as I am now without these YouTube videos. Literally, content, social media is very, very powerful. So if you aren't already, promote yourself, your skills, and your business on social media, be it through YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, literally whatever. Just start posting yourself. Maybe start posting ads if you have the money, because it will make a big difference in your business as long as you're doing it right. And even if you don't know how to do it right in the beginning, which is fine, that's how everyone is, it's a very good thing to start, because honestly, in the end, you're going to need social media anyways. It's just the way that we're headed in this world. So it's best to just start. Even if you're not good, just start. That's literally the best advice I could give you. And then the last way that I use content for leverage is less for in my business, because we never really used this type of content in my business, but with this YouTube video that you're watching, I use it all the time, which is honestly warm content. Essentially videos that you don't pay for. Essentially, I'm not paying for you to see this video. You're just seeing it because either you thought the title was interesting, or you thought the thumbnail was interesting, or you already watched my videos and you just think I'm interesting, so that's why you clicked on it. And I kind of regret not using any of this for my business. We did a little bit in the beginning, but we weren't that good at it. And my advice to you is, if you aren't using some type of content, be it ads or even warm, just start doing it, because when you do start, it really will make a big difference in your business. And the beauty of it too is that with this one video, there's like a billion other people that can watch this video. And the thing is, I don't need to spend any more time talking to those billion or however many more people. Just those people watch the video and that's it. You don't need to do extra work. Holy smokes, is this some good leverage or what right here? I think it's some good leverage. And the last thing I want to touch on when it comes to me using leverage in my business is two parts of systems. And the first one that I want to touch on is managing. I don't really think this is a throwaway. Essentially, it kind of ties into what we were talking about in the beginning, but I just want to touch on it again because it's that important. And the reason why managing is so high leverage, at least in my business, is because whenever you can essentially train a team or train people, you're going to get a percentage of the output of the team. And it's like this in most businesses as well. From the sales job I've done to probably every other sales job in the world, every other business in the world, whenever a manager can lead a team, especially a sales team, and their sales team can do some numbers and get some outputs out, the manager is going to benefit from it tremendously as well. And what managers do is essentially lead and teach, LNT. Honestly, start really learning about these two, because as you go, even in business, as the entrepreneur, the person who starts a business, managing is very important. Being able to lead people and being able to teach people the things that they need to know about the work that they're doing or how to sell or etc. This is very important, because if your people can learn and then they can perform well in business, in your business, and they can make some money, you as a result will get paid. That's why I think managing is very high leverage. And the main advice I can give to you about this is honestly lead from the front. Teach by example, because whenever someone can see that their leader is also out in the field doing the same work that they're expecting everyone to do, they are much more inclined to do it and they are much more happier to do it, as opposed to someone who's like, oh, do this, do that. I'm just going to be here watching or doing something else because my time is worth more than yours. Whenever someone does that, it just does not end well. So do not be like one of those people. It will not end out well for you or your business or the company you're managing for. The last type of leverage that I want to talk about is, it's kind of in the name again, systems, or we'll kind of split it up into two parts, systems and automation. Wow, that is very, very good handwriting. And quick tip before we actually move on to this, another thing about managing or just being in business is you will get paid if you can make either someone else money or you can make someone else happy. If you can do one of those two things or both, you are set for success. So the last thing is making systems and automating. For our business, the main things that we automated was just payroll, payment processing, and things along the lines of that, and putting in spreadsheets and managing and keeping track of all the customers we have. And honestly, I would say you don't really need to worry too much about automation, especially in the beginning, because in the beginning, you're gonna have more time, so you don't really need to buy subscriptions or do things like that. You could just do everything manually, and it's not gonna be the end of the world. You're not gonna die if you put in some things manually. But what we did do in the beginning was focus on systems, and everyone should focus on systems throughout the entire time that they're in business. And honestly, the best way that I can explain systems is literally, it's just making processes easier or making things easier in your business. A funny example of this is the first system that we had that was very bad was whenever someone would get a sale, they would have to text all the customer information back to me, and then I would text it to the person who actually does the work. So it went from the salesperson to me, to my notes, to then the person who would do the work. It was very time consuming and it was very annoying. What we did the second year that was a lot better is we just used Google Calendar. So essentially, when someone would sell, they would just go on the calendar, they would put in the time slot, they'd put in all the info, like the customer name, their phone number or email, how much it costs, and then the address that we would perform the service at. And then, yeah, everything would just be there for me to see, the other person to see, and for that person to put in. So it was just so much easier and so much more flawless. And the thing is about systems, it's mainly mental. Essentially, you are just going to come up with the systems yourself. It's very creative work, so that's one thing that I enjoy about it too. As you go on in business, you're just gonna be like laying in bed or just walking or doing whatever, and there's gonna be thoughts that come to your head like, oh, how can I make this easier? And then you're just gonna get that idea, and then whenever you do get those ideas, test them out, implement them, because as you go in business, whenever you could save yourself or anyone else or even the customer some time, it will greatly help you out a lot. Another good example of this is freaking Amazon. When they implemented the buy with one click, that probably made them a lot more sales, and as well as that, it just saved the customer a lot more time. So that was one thing that they did very well, and good example of just using your brain and getting creative. Another good use of systems is literally just planning out your day-to-day or planning out the processes in your business. As in the sales process, this is how you do it, this is what you say, this is what you enter into your phone or into the computer, whatever. Those things are very important because you need to be able to communicate and replicate these things onto other people for them to learn, or for them to be able to continue in your business, or honestly even just continue the legacy of the business. So essentially, I feel like I kind of said a lot of words in this. Find ways to make your processes easier. So this is essentially how I use leverage in my business to make myself and everyone else more money by, of course, delegating work when you can, because whenever you can, it not only will save you more time, it will also make you yourself more money, as well as the people that you're working with, they're also going to make some money, and it's just going to be good for the economy and everyone involved. Next is also have a customer list. Just make everything easier. Sell to those that you've already sold to. Those are literally the easiest sales you'll ever make. And then start posting online content. Freaking amazing. One to many. Freaking amazing. Again, what an extremely amazing form of leverage this is. And lastly, have some systems in place into your business. Manage people properly and automate where you can, and have proper systems and continue improving on them as you go on. And yeah, hopefully you are able to use one or a few or all of these things into your business or into whatever you're doing to also help you make some more money, or just make some things more simple in your business and in your life as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. I really do hope you enjoyed the video. I really do hope you gained something from this video as well. If you also want some more help outside of these videos, check out the links in the description, mainly the coaching, because I am always more than happy to help you or anyone whenever you need it. The second thing is check out the newsletter. There's always so much more gems in written form. And lastly, join our community, because there is a lot of like-minded people to you and me. If you made it to the end of the video, me and you are fairly similar. There's a good chance that everyone else is fairly similar as well. So go ahead, join that. We do a lot of calls, and it's just a lot of fun in there too. One last time, thank you for watching the video. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye-bye.